Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. This is Mr. Shakespeare here again with you on the 10th of May, 2023. I'm here with psychic medium and remote viewer, Liz Cross. How are we doing today, Liz?
Great, thank you.
Super fine and smashing. Right, we are going to do the first of a couple of probes into AI. But we're not going to probe AI itself. We're going to probe somebody who will be very clued in and keyed up with the effects of AI. So we've done this guy before. His name's Raoul Pal. He's ex-Goldman Sachs, where he was a hedge fund trader. I think he runs his own hedge fund now, and he also runs a platform called Real Vision, which is a sort of finance and general platform that people can subscribe to, I believe. Okay, so if you can grab Raoul Powell, please.
Okay, yeah, I got him.
How is he doing today?
Great.
Okay. Is he still in the Cayman Islands?
Are you still in the Cayman Islands? Yes, he loves it there.
Okay. What should we ask him? Let's start with, as he sees it today, what is his view of all the upcoming developments in AI?
What do you think about all the upcoming developments in AI? There's some good, some bad.
Okay. What's the good thing?
The good thing, sorry, I was having a drink of tea. The good thing is that, you know, the advancements that can be made with AI, streamlining workforce, cost cutting for businesses. I feel like he's a businessman.
Yep.
Okay, then that makes sense. I didn't know that. I didn't know he was a businessman. He looks forward to being able to streamline in that way, cutting costs down, making more money, obviously. Those are the plus sides. The negative side, he's telling me, is it could hijack your whole IT system and crash it.
Right.
That's so funny how he just said that.
Right.
Is that a possibility? I mean,
yeah. Cool.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So if he's saying about positive being, you know, cost cutting and things like that, I mean, one of the biggest expenses that any commercial operation has is labor force, and therefore the wages, you know, therein. Does he expect large scale in certain sectors like finance, accountancy, insurance, banking? Does he see these as, you know, being affected by AI? In other words, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs.
Yes, thousands and thousands and thousands. Yeah. Now he believes it's going to take about 10 years.
Right.
That's his own personal thought, feeling, and opinion.
Does he think it'll start this year? Now we've got ChatGPT 4 out, which has been released, was supposed to be released in February, and it's already, sorry, at the end of the year, and it was released in February. It's already out. Does he think that's going to accelerate everything?
That's really going to accelerate. Not this year, no.
Next year?
Maybe a couple of years. Once people get used to it, and they start phasing out the job slowly.
Right. Does he think that this kind of artificial intelligence is going to be used for nefarious purposes as well?
Do you believe that this type of intelligence is going to be used for nefarious purposes. Well, yes, of course.
Right. Does that worry him?
Very worrying. Yes.
Right. Does he think there'll be enough checks and does he think that there'll be enough checks and balances and regulation, because AI is now taking off at a vast rate? Chat GPT 4 had 100 million users within 5 weeks. I mean, it took TikTok 9 months to get that many. So does he think that, regulations and checks and balances will keep up with the ever advancing tech here?
Do you think checks and balances? No, there's not going to be enough checks and balances. This is going to, all you need for it to do is to get into the wrong hands. Right?
Right.
That's
I mean,
what you need.
for
And then,
example, ChatGPT is open source. Anybody can use it.
right. But here's what he's saying. He's saying, and the example he's just given to me is that if you can manipulate it to give you any sort of information, what's to say that you can't, say, can you hack into XYZ bank and pull all the information, all the credit card numbers, all the accounting numbers? That's what he's saying.
Right.
So if somebody can take the tech behind it and manipulate it to their own advantage, right, for their own personal financial gain. And he's also giving me that example with crypto.
Okay.
He believes crypto will be hit first before the banks, because the banks have extra layers of security, but there's millions and millions of crypto wallets out there, and they can train this thing, or that's the best way I can say it. He's telling me train this thing to break in and withdraw all the money from the crypto wallets. Now, that frightens me. And the reason that frightens me is because if you remember, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, God, how long have I been doing this on YouTube? I don't know. I said at some point there's going to be this massive hacking. Well, yes, with Bankman-Fried and all that came into fruition. But I said at some point there's going to be something, some type of computing, some type of tech that can go in and wipe out these exchanges, wipe out the wallets and all of that. Now, maybe that is just a little delayed from the timeline, because I didn't know anything about crypto when I put that out, right? And as we're seeing now, maybe that's delayed, but you can actually manipulate the AI at some point to do this for you. And you can wipe it on the back end where the computer is the criminal and not the person programming it. So how would you even prove who stole all the money?
Right. Okay. Let's just hold him there a minute. Grab Bloomberg as an organization.
Okay.
Put Bloomberg out till the end of 2025, please. Say December 20th, 2025.
Okay, so December 20th, 2025, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay. Has Bloomberg reported on the mass hacking of crypto wallets in the last 2 years?
Has Bloomberg reported on the mass hacking of crypto wallets in the last 2 years? No.
Okay.
Now, from what I know of these future readings, these future self readings, right?
Yeah.
It's based upon quantum probability. So where we are today the probability is that it's a no. But, and also it's a no from him. I'm asking him, do you think this will happen within the next 2 years? He says no. But at some point, this is bound to happen. You can program these things to access whatever you want it to.
Right. Well, I was asking Bloomberg as a non-connected party before I moved him out there to ask him the same question.
Well,
So,
I don't know. He doesn't think it's going to be within the next 2 years, but
right.
certainly within the next 10.
All right. So let's put him out then 2 years. Well, let's put him out till the 20th of December, 2025, please.
December 20th, 2025, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay.
Is he still in the Cayman Islands?
Yes, he loves it there. he hopes to never leave.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. What has been the net effect of AI over the last observable effects of the AI, since middle of 2023?
How powerful it is. How fast it is. How informative it is. But he's also saying now the criminals have started to take hold.
Right.
And the government's also started to take hold. The government can also use it to their advantage to pull any type of information they want about you. Instead of using, oh, this is interesting. Okay. Instead of having Joe Blogg's detective, right, to do their work for them, as far as like the IRS is concerned, or FBI, CIA, all of these organizations, they now have AI programs that they just type in, I need to get this about this person, and it searches the entire internet, right? Dark and regular web, dark web and the regular web, and it can pull whatever it can about you. Okay. Right. Then it tells you how to infiltrate their life. So where we have this tracking, soon all of this stuff is going to be reported back. So for those of you that have like tracking your movements on Google and all that stuff, that will be accessible to people that are investigating you.
Right.
Does that make sense? So really in the field of police work, detective work, that's where he says the advancements have really been made.
Okay. Has he observed in any sectors the redundancies that he was talking about in May, the mass layoffs in certain sectors of workers? Has that happened yet in any way?
Not on the scale that people are anticipating. Now the government, I feel, in some locations are going to try to retrain people. So that you don't have this mass unemployment. But so far it hasn't happened yet. They're not confident with the AI as of yet. Now, techies are confident, but the regular run-of-the-mill, business owners, they're not confident. They're going to have to learn how to use it to their advantage. It really is an AI programming standpoint that is strongest. So AI programming, you're going to need these people to go in at the back end to program whatever it is that you need for your business, for whatever it is you want to achieve. And they're going to have to manipulate and program the AI in that way.
Right. Okay.
So AI programming is key here.
Okay. Well, I think he said in one of his videos in early 2023, one of the things that he was advocating was, people should find out how to harness the power of this. And, I mean, there's a lot of money to be made if you get on the right side and do something really smart with it, as opposed to, I mean, a lot of people are saying, well, do my homework, do this, write me a love song in the style of the Beatles or something like that. Well, okay, but that's, fun, but that's not a monetizing event. And he was saying, that people should like try and work out ways how they could harness the extreme power of this AI networks and, turn it into something, like the new WhatsApp, the new Instagram, the new whatever. Talking about
interesting. Sorry. What is interesting when you said that? Okay, write me this, write me that, write me this, write me that. But we're going into an era where we completely remove human emotion. What makes a song great? What makes art great? What makes, anything great? Well, it's that you can connect on a emotional level to something, right? And if we're just going to pump out material, writing and poems and songs and artwork that is completely devoid of human emotion, I think that needs to be explored, how we actually make emotional connections in the future. Are we going to raise a bunch of narcissistic, non-empathy creatures? Is that going to be the basis of our existence? Now, that's a very dangerous existence, by the way. If you have a world with no empathy whatsoever, what's the point in having a world? Because I know when you take the 3D hat off, it's all about human emotion. That is what you take with you when you leave, how you made someone feel, how they made you feel, and if we're just going to wipe all of that out, especially with the up and coming generations that will not know any better, they won't know what it's like to pour emotion into a novel or a painting or a song. Does that mean we're creating generations of people that will have no emotional attachment? That's very dangerous.
Okay. In May 2023, he talked about he thought that the crypto space was going to be the first one that would be affected by bad actors, using AI. Has any of that transpired now in December 2025?
So bad actors using AI?
Yeah, to hack, like he said, banks, they could go after banks, but banks do have more security and higher levels of protection. Whereas he mentioned that there was a lot of, there's a lot of people with crypto wallets that are not so protected and things like that. So has any of that, I mean, I know there's always instances, but has there any, he's the kind of guy, he's a macro guy. He looks at everything from a very big picture, very long lens out. So has any of that been observable to him?
No, not in the short term. No.
Right.
That he is aware of.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, no, I mean, if every Ethereum address was hacked, that would be, that would be on Bloomberg. That would be, he'd know about it. Everybody would know about it. So, or every Bitcoin address was hacked or something like that,
So, yeah. And the big question is, how is your money ever going to be safe if you have this type of technology that can just go in and you can direct it to, siphon everybody's money, whether it's out of, banking platforms, crypto platforms, exchanges, wallets. That's another risk that you take of moving into a cashless society. Now you're at the mercy of somebody else protecting your money. And that's pretty scary. I mean, I don't know about you, Mr. Shakespeare, but I don't trust anybody. I know I have to have money in a bank in order to survive and pay and function in life. But it bothers me that I'm leaving, my hard earned, blood, sweat, and tears money that we've all worked so hard for at the mercy of the security of someone else. It's pretty daunting.
Mm. Yeah.
And then what are you gonna do? And then what do we do? If somebody goes in and there's a mass wiping out of money, not just on the crypto end, but let's talk about the banking end. This is all coming from him, this Raoul Pal. You're not insured. There's no way that any government could ever cover that loss.
Right.
And it's bound to happen, he says. It's bound to happen.
Right. Well, that's interesting. I mean, it sounds like we're heading for tech will overwhelm, regulation, and will be used. There will be bad actors that get involved in this, because there's always bad actors that get involved with everything. So,
Yeah, always.
Okay, let's ask him a few other questions. So, has the political landscape changed as we're now in December 2025 in the US?
Has the political landscape in the US changed in 2025? He doesn't believe so. According to his own personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions, he says they're still on the downslide. The political landscape, in his opinion, has not changed. He thinks that it's too far gone. This is his opinion. Do not write me hate mail. Liz, this, that, and the other. No, don't do it. His opinion is that it's on the downslide.
Right. Okay. Has there been any major banking failures in the last year and a half, 2 years? 2 years.
Not major banking failures, but he believes that banks are just barely holding on.
Right.
Even though we're going in 2025, we're in recovery mode. But he believes they're just barely holding on. He says these banks are technologically being hammered, and they're spending billions to try to keep up with all of this, right? Because they also have to evolve. Everybody's money is at stake. They have to beef up their security. Now you got to have AI security experts in behind the scenes. It's costing a lot more money to combat this type of technology and any potential hits that may come with the hacking using AI. It's pretty bad. It's grim.
Okay. So, turning to the Federal Reserve, did the Federal Reserve pivot and start reducing interest rates in the last 2 years? And if so, when did they do it?
Sorry, what was that question?
So, turning to the Federal Reserve, did the Fed reduce interest rates? They pivot. At the moment, they're sort of, on the rise. And everybody's expecting them to pivot at some point, or more point they want them to. And I'm asking in the question, did they pivot, in the last 2 years? Did they start reducing rates? And if so, when did they do that?
Did the Federal Reserve start reducing rates? Did they pivot? I mean, slightly, but not by much. Not to reverse what has happened.
Really?
People are still hurting.
But is the Fed funds rate then still high? I mean, at the moment, I think it's 500 to 525 basis points. Is it still there, or is it higher or lower than 500 basis points?
It's lower. But in his eyes, it's going to take a very long time for us to recover economically.
Right. Okay. Has there been any noticeable changes in, say, the FTSE, well, yeah, okay, the New York Stock Exchange, the Dow Index, or the S&P 500? Has that stayed pretty much stable, or has it peaked out, or did it, drop a lot? Did they drop a lot, or, I'm not asking for exact numbers. I'm just looking at trends. Did it go up generally over the last 2 years, or did it go down generally over the last 2 years?
He's saying there wasn't a lot of movement. There's not a lot of change. There's not a lot of movement there.
So there's no big panic then. There's no big sell-off. There's no big, oh my God, the world's finishing. That type of a crash is happening.
No.
Okay. Has AI now been incorporated into just about every electronic device?
Yes. So phone, tablets, laptops. Is it a special software? So yes, I mean, it's software. It's not hardware.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's a bit like, they bundle photos or picture taker or a camera or something like, that type of thing. So if that's now part of the software of the units, then all of these devices have got it. I mean, is that the case?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Right. Was there any global, or was there any major pushback against the advancement of AI over the last 2 years? Or have everybody just lapped it up and thought it was all a good thing?
No, there's no pushback.
Wow.
It's the same with the cashless society. There's no pushback. Everybody thinks, wow, this is wonderful. Wow, this is great. And then when you're knee deep into it, you realize your mistake, but it's too late.
Right. Does he know how Elon Musk is doing?
He just said he's forever challenging, is what he said. What do you mean by that? He's constantly challenging and putting out ideas and challenging the system, is what he says.
Right. Does he know how Tesla are doing?
Not great. Not great. They need to come up with a lot more new ideas. Elon's trying to also keep up with what's going on. Trying to be everybody wants to be the next hottest trend, right? Yeah. So now they're trying to evolve into something else, as in, wow, what's the next hot global tech trend that I can create? Obviously, areas of business will suffer if you put all your concentration into something and not the other. And that's Elon's failing. He gets too distracted, he's telling me.
Right. Have electric vehicles generally, been taken up by the buying public over the last 2 years, or have we seen a drop in electric vehicle purchases?
Rise or drop in electric vehicle purchases? He says he believes there's a drop.
Right.
Especially in times of economic hardship,
Why?
people are not willing to, and he says an electric car is still a luxury.
Right.
They're not willing to purchase luxury items.
Right. Well, I was going to say, yeah, is it due to the cost?
Is it true to- Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. If there is one piece of advice that he could give people looking back over the last 2 years, what would that be?
To slow down.
Right.
We need to slow all of this down. This is going too fast. We can't even comprehend how quickly this is going. It's beyond the comprehension of most people. We need to absorb it and digest it and process it and talk about it and debate it and, really be conscientious about where this is going. That's not being done here. And if it is in the US, it's being done on such a small scale, nobody's listening.
Right. Okay, yes, that's what I think, actually. I think it's all going very quick.
Yeah, that's what he says. I don't know too much about it. I haven't even used Chat GPT. Can you believe that? Like I've never used it.
I can believe that, Liz. Liz, no, I can.
You can believe that. I just, and I don't know. I don't know what to think about it, but they're going to monetize it. It's not going to be free. This is all going to be monetized. This is another subscription-based thing, right? Here we go. Yet another subscription.
Well, that is the American way, I'm afraid. That's been adopted by everything. Get people on repeat on subscriptions for everything. You've only got, it doesn't matter whether they know people don't use everything all the time. Gym membership is one of the biggest. Subscribe to the gym. Most people don't use it every day. They start off with the good intentions and they hardly use it, and then they cancel their membership. This happens for so many things. They always want you on subscription.
They do.
Keep paying, keep paying, keep paying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think this is giving us a lot to go on, a lot to think about. And I think that we will have to further research this and do a whole probe of a whole array of people, including Elon Musk, even though he's very difficult to probe. His brain is wired so differently to everybody else's. But certainly we can try and pull future information to see where this is going.
Yeah.
You understand it more than I do. I don't really understand it. And I agree with Raul and what he says. This is beyond most people's comprehension. I mean, if you even think about crypto, a lot of people, the vast majority, are not in crypto, right? Because it's beyond their basic comprehension. Tech is becoming so complicated that it scares people. We actually uncovered that in a CTT session on Monday. It's like the tech is, the fact that tech is becoming scary to people. It's so overwhelming how complicated it's becoming that people are blocking themselves and they're blocking growing their businesses or whatever it is they need to grow because they're scared of the tech. And I'm here to tell you people, I'm like you, right? I'm not scared of tech. I don't have that much time to invest in it, but you're gonna have to get to grips with it. You are. And I know Mr. Shakespeare, we have a whole age range of listeners. We have young and we have the older crowd, everybody in between. You guys are going to have to get to grips with this, even if you spend 20 minutes a day just learning something new with tech. Because if not, as we have discovered in this probe, you're going to be oblivious to the pitfalls out there. And the pitfalls that we are getting, which is he quite rightly said, and I never even thought about that. They can program AI to just come steal your money, and you can just never know who's taken it all, and you can hide it. You can direct the AI to then deposit that stolen money in thousands of different bank accounts or crypto wallets or whatever. And you can find these people, right? That's where we're headed. So please do yourselves a favor and learn.
Yep.
Mr. Shakespeare?
Yeah,
I think that's the end of this one.
I think so.
I think you did a great job with your questions. I know you're a techie person, and I look forward to what you have in store for all of us. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.